I'm Michael Smerconish in New York. We welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. So, we are 4 weeks into the Trump administration, but he's still campaigning for the job. He's left the heat of Washington, D.C. for the warmth of Florida, where instead of being surrounded by an aggressive media, he's about to enjoy the company of thousands of his supporters. That should provide him a welcome distraction from declining approval ratings and turmoil in the White House that inspired this magazine cover from Time. National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's been ousted, but I still have 3 critical questions about contact that he had with Russian officials, and we need answers. And a mother here illegally is holed up in a church to avoid deportation. So what should the government do? Plus, people are placing roommate ads saying, "No Trump supporters allowed." Is that good chemistry or intolerance? And the president calls the press the enemy of the American people and wants to prosecute anyone leaking to reporters. He actually makes me proud to be a newspaper columnist, and I'll tell you why. But first, after a turbulent week that included the resignation of the president's national security advisor, the withdrawal of the labor secretary nominee, and a press conference for the ages, President Trump is back in warm weather and will stage a campaign rally at 5 p.m. Eastern today in an airplane hangar in Melbourne, Florida. Yes, I said campaign rally. Suffering low approval ratings and perhaps feeling isolated in the White House, the president seems eager to relive the embrace of those huge crowds that greeted him during the 2016 campaign. In fact, he's actually already filed for re-election 2 years earlier than the norm for incumbents, and he has started fundraising. Joining me now, a friend of the president, the CEO and president of the conservative news organization Newsmax, Christopher Ruddy, and the pride of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Salenazito, who writes for the Washington Examiner and the New York Post. Chris Ruddy, does the 2020 race begin this afternoon?
I think it began even before Trump was inaugurated, and the reason why is the media's been in total war with him, so I think he feels he should be out there talking directly to the American people. You know, Obama was in full-time campaign mode for 8 years. He was giving speeches, did very little legislative hard work behind the scenes. I think already we're seeing President Trump, he's reaching out to global leaders. He's really been trying to reach out to the Democrats. If you notice, he doesn't attack the Democrats too much. The press have very low approval ratings. And Michael, your statement about the press conference, I think a lot of people thought, yeah, it was a little different, but it was also refreshing. And there's a disconnect. The elites hate this type of thing, but people in the heartland, I think they're a little more open to it than you believe.
Well, no, I recognize that. I mean, Selena, how did that presser play at Cracker Barrel?
Well, you know, I mean, those first of all, Cracker Barrels are usually off interstates. If you really want to understand where people how they feel about things, is go to coffee shops and diners and into community centers. And the people I heard from that I have talked to throughout the election, people that were skeptical of him, people who did or didn't vote for him, they understand this is who they voted for, or they understood that this is who this guy's going to be. And it's always going to be this sort of force of nature. And so while the ones that did or did not, vote for him may or may not like it, they're not surprised by it.
His numbers certainly, his numbers, Chris, let me just say this. His numbers certainly are not on the rise. Catherine, put that Gallup survey back up. I mean, look at that approval rating at 38%. 46% voted for him. Go ahead, Chris.
I get the Washington Post email every morning, and I devour it. I like some of the reporters there, Costa, Parker, Rucker, good people. Sure. Every headline running down this thing. The lead, Trump's immigration is screwing up. The German defense minister hates Trump. Trump calls the American media the enemy. Trump's making more money on his golf club. Everybody hates Kellyanne.
Which of those are untrue?
One headline is Trump is a cancer. This is from one of the lead writers. How to manage the White House cancer. Come on, if I saw this, if the this is war mode against the president. This is a guy that never held political office. He is the first president in the history of the country never to held political office or have been a general. He doesn't have a cadre of staff and people. He's coming in and he decided he was going to bring in some new people. I think, you know, they said in the media, nobody's going to ever join the Trump administration. This reason. Look at the heavyweights that have come into this cabinet. A-plus people like Wilbur Ross, Mnuchin, they left billion-dollar businesses. Mike Pompeo, one of the smartest guys in Congress.
But let me just say that I recognize that the credentials of some of those that he's attracted to the cabinet are impressive. Rex Tillerson, how can you say that someone who's played that role as CEO of Exxon is not an impressive individual? But Chris, here's what's lacking. There's no steady hand in the White House. There is not a David Gergen. There's not someone who's been there, done that, who can say, Mr. President, that's imprudent. And that's where I think he's coming up short in addition to other areas. But I want to ask you something, because you are a friend of the president, and I know that you had a drink with him at Mar-a-Lago. You, I think, was McCallum, my kind of guy. Him was a soda. I want to ask you this. Is he enjoying himself? Does he like this job? He's a month into it.
I think he loves the job. I think he's really excited about it. And I've never seen him more focused in his life, more energetic. I mean, he's always been a high-energy guy, so to speak, but I think I think he's perplexed by just the open, outrageous hostility by the media. Now, I agree with you. The White House has made some stumbles, but I do think that they are trying to fix them. And when you say there's no steady hand, I think Trump's actually the steady hand. Everybody says, oh, there's some global chaos. Look at what he's done around the world. Reaffirmed the relationship with Japan, reaffirmed support to South Korea, declared a one-China policy, reaffirmed support of NATO, encouraging NATO countries to increase their budget, cautioned Israel not to go too aggressively with the Palestinians, warned Iran. I mean, this is not, and he's extended a hand of friendship to Putin without giving up any chips. I think the guy's acted pretty smartly so far in foreign policy. So it's just this perception where he led the press conference saying, you guys are describing this place in chaos, and it's not true.
But, Chris, I can't let those pass. To me, there has been, I could drill down on any one of them where there has been an unpredictability and a volatility. I mean, take Israel. You just referenced Israel. I don't know. Is he for a two-state solution, a one-state solution? Is he reining in Bibi with regard to expansion on the West Bank, or is he not? It's very hard to see coherence, and that's what I think is causing a lot of concern.
Look, I think he said to the Israelis, don't do any settlements right now. We don't want to upset the apple cart. He hasn't moved the embassy quickly, although everybody thought that was going to happen on day one. And I think he's reaffirmed support for other Arab leaders, and he's reached out to a number of people in the region, the president of Egypt, who I think is a good guy, Sisi. So I think, you know, you're overstating, and I don't think the Israelis perceive there's chaos. I don't think people in the Middle East perceive there's chaos. So why does anyone in Washington keep...
I don't think I'm over. Look, I brought the two of you here today by my choice because neither of you is antagonistic toward President Trump. Selena, he tweeted this morning. Can we put that up on the screen? I want to show Salenazito what he said just this morning. Don't believe the mainstream fake news media. The White House is running very well. I inherited a mess, and I'm in the process of fixing it. Selena, you think the White House is running very well?
Well, I mean, we don't know that specifically because we're not inside. Well, you know, let me finish. We don't know that specifically because we're not inside the White House. The appearance on the outside is chaos, disruption, and people did, you know, look, had we elected Hillary Clinton or Jeb Bush, you would have had a group, as the point you made before, you would have had seasoned people that have worked in the White House, that understand how things go on and understand how to run things up the chain. You do not have this in this White House yet because he did not bring those types of people in. But remember, that's what people elected. That's what they wanted. You know, I think that as journalists, we need to be more agnostic about how he feels about us, and we should focus more on what he is doing.
Christopher, final comment from you.
Donald Trump is the only guy in America who's friends with both Billy Graham and Howard Stern. He has a unique ability to bring people together. I think everybody's in this war mode. The press at him and him back at the press. I think we need to get beyond that. I think he has the ability to be a great popular president. He needs to get his economic program through. And I think people will judge him by results. And don't worry about what goes on in Twitter. Sometimes he likes to overstate his position. That's one of his negotiating tactics. Look at results and look at what he's doing domestically and foreign policy. I think it's fine.
All right,
so far,
Baba,
give him a chance. Give him a chance.
Baba Booey, to your last point. Chris Ruddy, Salenazito, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
What do you think? Tweet me at Smerconish. I will read some of the responses throughout the course of the program. Already they're flowing in. What do we got? Let's see. Smerconish, remember, he's your president, as you so clearly stated at the start. Having fun yet? He may be yours, but he's not my president. Hey, multi-specialist, I said it and I meant it. I can sit here and have disagreement about the direction of this thing, but I'm not denigrating the office, and I have respect for the commander-in-chief. So I'll be critical, but I'm also going to keep in mind that, yeah, he is the president of the United States. I think I've honored that. Hit me with another one. Smerconish, Michael, do not be part of the problem of fake news. Enough of this fake news garbage. There's nothing fake about what you just heard. It's all fact-based. And instead of telling me about fake news, I would rather you call me out and say, you said this, and it was incorrect. Boy, I'll be waiting for that tweet during the course of this program, but it will never come. Still to come, Michael Flynn has been ousted as the head of the NSC after his dealings with Russia and is not coming clean about them. I've got 3 questions that require answers. And with the Trump administration crackdown on illegal immigrants, a married mother of 6 has taken refuge in a Colorado church to avoid deportation. I will talk to Jorge Ramos about the state of things.